Okay, so this is part 2 of the fish notes. We're going to talk more specifically now in the subphylum Vertebrata. All of these fish and all of the organisms in the subphylum will have vertebrae that surround a nerve cord and serve as the primary axial support, so that center support system. Most are vertebrates, and they're going to be members of the superclass Gnathostomata. This includes jawed fishes and tetrapods when we're talking about our fish evolution here. Okay, so ostracoderms, we did talk about them a little bit. Ostracoderms, the term itself isn't like a phylum or a class or anything like that. It's talking about the category of these ancient fish. They are extinct agnathans. Agnathans do not have a jaw, and there are several classes of them. Like I said before, there were bottom dwellers, kind of sluggish. They were filter feeders. They had bony armor and bony plates around their mouth that kind of worked like a jaw. Now we move into class Cephalaspidomorphi. And if you break down its meaning, cepha means head, aspidos is shield, and morph means form. And these are going to be like the lamprey eels, and they are agnathans. They do not have a jaw. And this is what their mouth looks like, though. I don't think I would want one attached to me. They live both in marine and freshwater. Their larvae are filter feeders, and the adults happen to be predatory, and their mouth has this suction-like aspect to it. And then their little teeth in there that you can see can burrow into the side of a fish and kind of suck on its blood and stuff like that. They're kind of gross, and they are an invasive species now in the Great Lakes. I think they came in on the ballasts of ships from the St. Lawrence Seaway from the ocean. So they do cause problems for the native species there. You can see how the picture there, they're attached to their prey, and then their tongue that has those little teeth on it help rasp away the scales and then kind of feed on them. Their salivary glands, just like a mosquito's, has an anticoagulant so that the fish doesn't actually clot. And there's two types. There are freshwater brook lampreys. They live in freshwater, obviously. Their larval stage can last 3 years, and the adults only reproduce. They never leave the stream, and then they die. And then the sea lamprey, they live in the ocean or the Great Lakes. At their end of their life, they migrate to freshwater streams to spawn. The female attaches to a stone with her mouth. The male uses his mouth to attach to the female's head. Eggs are shed, sperm are shed, fertilization is external. And here's just a diagram showing that whole reproductive process. Okay, so Gnathostomata, these are the jawed fish. They evolved from an anterior pair of pharyngeal arches. Jaws are important because they can provide more efficient gill ventilation. They can actually use their jaw to push water through their gills, and it helps with the capture and ingestion of a variety of food sources. Paired appendages are also important in these Gnathostomata, meaning they have fins on either side of their body. It helps decrease the rolling possibility while they're swimming and locomoting. It helps to control their tilt or their pitch. It helps with lateral steering. Okay, so in your note packet you should have this picture. We're going to go through and you're going to draw the various fins on a fish. And then below the picture, I think you have enough space there, you're going to write down what these fins do for the fish. So caudal fin, the caudal fin is like the tail fin. It's at the end, the back end of the body, and it's used for forward motion and acceleration. There's a dorsal fin, and an anal fin that you're going to add here. These are singular fins, so they're along the center line of their bodies, and it's used to help prevent rolling or tipping. And just so you know, the dorsal fin is what you see on a shark when they're coming, you know, the traditional shark image. That's what you're seeing is their dorsal fin. Then there are pectoral fins and pelvic fins. These are paired, so there's one on each side of the body, and they're used for balance, for stopping and turning. That helps them do all those types of things. And then you can add some spines. Not all fish have these, but some do. And they will, some of them can contain poison sacs. I don't know if I was a kid and I used to go fishing and I'd catch sunfish. And I remember those things had spines on them because they would get me a couple times. And then you can add the operculum. You will be looking at that specifically when you're dissecting your fish. The operculum is what's covering the gills, so you'll have to cut the operculum off to actually see the gills. Shark do not have operculum, they just kind of have slits in the side of their head where their gills are. And then you're going to add in a lateral line, and it is literally, it looks like a line down the side of their body, and it's a sense organ. It helps them detect changes in water pressure, and so they can tell if something's coming at them. They can feel vibrations in it, so it's kind of like an ear for them. Okay, so the jaws and appendages will help increase a predatory lifestyle for fish. That's what the Gnathostomata have as an advantage. And they'll be able to eat more, they can have more offspring, they can exploit new habitats. So the fact that they have jaws, that they have paired appendages, definitely increase their evolutionary advantage. So this is the end of part 2. You can continue on to part 3 now.